is driving the high shots on target ratio for Celtic. We have not allowed. Let's put it this way: we've allowed the least. I'm trying to figure out how do I say this. We have allowed the least number of shots on target of any team by far in the league. So what that suggests is that teams are not getting into good positions against us in general. It's just that when that's the case, occasionally when it does happen, I think it feels worse as a supporter because it's so unexpected, right? It's like, wait a minute, they actually got a shot on target, and you feel like, what's wrong with the defense? But actually, overall, that's the thing that is keeping us where we are. The problem is up front. The problem is up front, and I know John Guidetti is obviously a beast, and we need to sign him on a long-term deal, but he can't do it by himself. The problem is up front. We have a lot of talent up there, but it's just not clicking to the level that we need to turn those shots into shots on target.
Do you know off the top of your head who kind of what Celtic player would have had the kind of most shots off target?
Chris Commons, I'll tell you that right now.
Stokes, well, that's what I was thinking. I wonder if it is Stokes.
I think that if you're talking about shooting accuracy, probably the lowest would probably be, Stokes. I think Commons is pretty good. I think in terms of shooting accuracy, Tom Watt has done this analysis at STV where he's looked at shooting accuracy of players, and I think Chris Commons is actually relatively high. I can't say off the top of my head exactly who takes the prize for that. We want them to take shots, and the system that Ronnie has in place encourages them to do that, and that that's a success. Like it's getting, it's definitely working in that sense. The trick is, how can we, get more accuracy?
And well, whether it's stats or just your personal opinion, Seth, 90Minutecynic, we like to talk about Charlie Mulgrew quite a lot. So what's your take on Maldini this season and in general?
Well, I think his hair is not looking as good as it has looked in the past.
Correct. That's one of our biggest criticisms, frankly.
Yeah, it's like he's not even trying. And I think that's, we're joking, but I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, he's not even trying with the hair, so it makes me wonder about the rest of his game.
Lazy with his hair, lazy on the pitch. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him because he had that great season. I guess it was 2 seasons ago, and he's a Celtic man. I hate to get on the back of people like Charlie Mulgrew because he's one of us, and it's disappointing when they underperform. And so I'm not, maybe it's just a thing of he had a real connection with Lenny, and it's not really clicking for him with Ronnie, It could be something psychological, like that. That there's so much goes on in these guys' lives that we don't know about, outside of think about it. Like most of what goes on in football, whether it's the training ground and the stats or the personal relationships they develop with the manager, most of that we don't ever see. Right? We only see that very small window of time when they're on the pitch, and then someone underperforms, and we wonder what their problem is. I don't think it's a problem of skill. I think he's proven that he has the skill. It may be motivational.
No, that's a good point. It could be off-field stuff, or it could be that he's just shit. I'm the chief Charlie Mulgrew basher.
Yeah, well, he could have had a lucky year when he had that excellent year, and it was, player of the year and everything. He could have been lucky that year, and maybe we're seeing the real level now too. So that's also possible.
We're just going to wrap up now. Thanks for coming on, Seth. But just one quick question. I know Chris Sermanni is a NFL fan. Why did you turn your back on the NFL? Was there any particular reason, or did you just get bored of it, or?
Too many head injuries. I basically was watching, guys torpedo themselves at each other and like trying to break each other's necks. And it just made I felt a little dirty, to be honest with you, because it doesn't seem like, and then I think about like all the health problems that NFL's players have later on in life, and then how the NFL actually doesn't support them with their medical bills and things like that. And I just started to feel dirty. And so I found a new outlet.
Yeah, the medical issue is quite bad. That recent lawsuit that they settled on was pretty bad. But just in terms of, it's quite an interesting thing that there's a lot of Americans getting into footballs or soccer, and there's been an upsurge in people in this country kind of liking the NFL. It's quite interesting to see the swapping.
Yeah, that is interesting. Seth, thanks for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll name check your blog again at the end of the show. You're at 226 blog, and thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me. It was great.
Back in the USA by Chuck Berry, as done by the Modern Lovers. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh well, I feel real good today. See, we just touched ground on an international runway. Jet propelled back home to the USA. In New York, Los Angeles, you know that I yearn for you. In Detroit, Chicago, Chattanooga, Baton Rouge. Oh, not to mention Vietnam, in Boston, Massachusetts. I'll tell you something, now did I miss the skyscrapers and the long freeways? From the coast of California to the shores of the Delaware Bay. Oh yes I did, until I got back in the USA. Rock a while, let's go! Well, take me to a drive-in, take me to a corner cafe. Where hamburgers sizzle on an open griddle night at day. I want to see a jukebox jump with records in the USA. Let's talk about it. You see, I'm so glad I was brought up in the USA. Oh yeah, well I'm so glad I'm living in the USA. It's true, what you want, gotta right back in the USA. My turn, look out! To a drive-in, any little corner cafe. I wanna hear hamburgers sizzle on an open griddle night and day. I wanna see a jukebox jump with records in the USA. Let's go. Well, I'm so glad I'm living in the USA. Oh yeah. Well, I'm so glad I was brought up in the USA. I am. 'Cause what you want, it's here in the USA.
So we've got some other questions. Mickey tweets quite a lot, at Mickey1888. His question is, with Virgil van Dijk not likely to be at Celtic next season, do we sell him in January to bed in a replacement for the Champions League qualifiers? And he goes on to say, seeing that Denier may be gone too, and we've got a higher fee in January, it's something to think about. Louis McCaffrey.
First of all, it is something that kind of worries me, because that's our first choice centre-back pairing, and I mean, all probability says that they both will be gone, is what he's saying there. It doesn't really look as if there's... I mean, Ronnie Dyle is surely not daft. He must be. He must have a plan in his head, but it doesn't look as if it involves the players that are currently there.
Do you think we could get Denier for another season on loan? And if we did do that, do you
what
think
age is he?
22.
At the age of 22, he should be. I think he has to maybe.
Actually, hold on a minute. I'll check. Maybe he's not 22. But anyway, continually. Sorry.
I mean, that would be good if that were to happen. But Virgil van Dijk, I don't know as far as the kind of money that you're going to get.
Sorry, I'm getting it wrong. He's 19.
19.
Gaudet, sorry, that's what I was getting mixed up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Celtic would probably try that, and we'll see. It might be the situation where if Virgil van Dijk does leave and Denier stays for another season, he's maybe got the chance to step up and be that kind of number one centre back, you know what I mean, to kind of see if he can take on that responsibility. So that's maybe worth something. Van Dijk,
get him to fuck. Did you see him at the goal against? He was terrible at the goal.
Yeah,
you really don't like him.
Yeah, you are picking on him, Chris. I mean, the Aberdeen game, he was outstanding. Big, important game up at Pittodrie, away from home. I think when there's a bit more, when the stakes are a bit higher, I think he steps up to it. He can play like an utter fud at home, like he did.
What I'm saying, you know what? I agree with that. The point I'll make is, I do agree. I think the bigger the game, the better he plays. Yeah. But he should still be criticised for having poor performances. Is all I'm saying, because he cost the goal against Dundee by just not being strong enough in the tackle.
Well, he did the bit.
So I mean, if that was someone else, you would criticise him. So all I'm saying is, we've got a right to criticise him when he's poor, just like we've got a right to praise him when he's good.
Yeah, and going back to the question, I think that. I think Ronnie Deila has to keep his best players at the club for as long as he possibly can, especially in his first season. So I think he should try and keep them to the end of the summer. But as in the question, he does need to bring somebody in and start integrating them into the squad. Whether they're playing every game, maybe not, but at least having somebody there and having a clear plan that someone is coming in to take over from him in the summer is very important.
Ciaran, thoughts on that question?
No, it is definitely a worry, because there's no time after the season finishes to get any kind of plan for the way it is in paper just now. 2 centre halves.
Yeah,
Van Dijk is definitely going. He almost went in the last summer. Whether it's January, whether it's summer, Denier, it's not guaranteed we will get him for another season. So, but then if you bring them in the January and these two don't go, then how do you get to play them if these two are still going to be staying and playing till the end of the summer?
The other thing I'll just quickly say is that, remember, Deila was very critical of Celtic's pre-season and the kind of structure of it and the fixtures that we had. I think we'll be very interested to see what he does and the influence he has on what we do during the pre-season. And if he has got a plan, then I think that's where we'll need to see somebody come in January, because he would be kind of contradicting himself if he didn't have things implemented as soon as possible from that.
I think the ones for him for this summer coming is there's no international tournament, there's no World Cup or Euros, so he's going to when they finish off their season, the players are going to have a chance of having 2-3 week break, come back, but still come back with 4 or 5 weeks before the
season starts.
The qualifiers anyway.
Yeah,
I think we will get Denier next season. I don't see where he could go really. I mean.
He could go out and loan somewhere else.
Well, I suppose, but I don't. I mean, if we're looking to take him, you think he'd want to stay. European football, win a couple of trophies. As Louis said, chance to step up and be the number one, because Van Dijk's going to go. We all know that. We all expect that. I think. Okay, there is a possibility that Denier won't be here, but I'm going to work on the assumption that he will be here. I do think.
I think he will as well.
Yeah, but I think we do need to get. As you say, I would hope that Deila's looking to bed in, Van Dijk's replacement. As I say, he criticised our pre-season this year. Hopefully, he's got these targets in, we can get him in, we can hit the ground running.
Yeah, good point. We'll come to you in a second, Chris. The point I would make is I do think Virgil will go in January. I think it's going to be quite... What I would like to do, and I said this to Chris the other day, is if it's obvious that Virgil's going to go, because he'll make I'm pretty sure he's already made his thoughts known about leaving Celtic. I think he would probably like to be sooner rather than later as well. So if he did go in January, what would be criminal is if he went in the last couple of days and we didn't reinvest that money. We've been, probably more supportive of the board in a lot of ways than a lot of other people, but I think it would be absolutely criminal if we got, I'm going to pick a number, 7 million quid. Let's say we got 7 million quid for Virgil. If we got that, if we sold them 2 days before the transfer window and we brought in another fucking loan signing, because if we did that, if we brought in a guy on loan at centre half, again, that's just papering over the cracks for me. So if Virgil's going to go, And I know it takes other clubs to come in from, but I do think